When we picture being lost at sea, our minds conjure up dramatic, violent ends. We imagine the fury of a hurricane, with torrential rain and winds that tear ships apart. We think of the primal, deep-seated fear of what lurks beneath the surface, the silent, hunting shadow of a shark. Or we envision the raw, untamable power of the ocean itself, a rogue wave rising like a liquid mountain. But for those who have endured it, the greatest threat isn't the explosive chaos of the wreck. It's the silence that follows. The most dangerous moment arrives quietly, under a sky full of indifferent stars, on the second night. The first night at sea is a blur of pure chaos. Your brain is flooded with adrenaline, every nerve firing. You're focused only on surviving the next second, finding anything that floats, climbing into a raft, helping other survivors. Your body is a machine running on pure survival instinct, pushing past pain and exhaustion. But the second night is different. The adrenaline is gone, replaced by a deep, bone-aching fatigue. By then, the initial shock has faded. The immediate danger has passed. And in the profound quiet, a terrible realization begins to settle in. No rescue has come. You are still floating in the immense, empty, open ocean, and the horizon looks exactly the same in every single direction. A perfect, unbroken circle of water and sky. That's when the real battle begins. The mind, now unprotected by adrenaline, starts to change. One of the most harrowing tales of survival at sea, and a powerful example of the mind's struggle against isolation, comes from the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. The heavy cruiser was sailing alone in the Philippine Sea, having just completed a top-secret mission to deliver components for the first atomic bomb. Just after midnight on July 30th, 1945, 2 Japanese torpedoes struck the ship. It sank in only 12 minutes. Of the nearly 1,200 men on board, about 900 made it into the water, thrown into the vast, dark expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Many survived the initial sinking, clinging to debris and life rafts, but their ordeal was only beginning. The first night was a chaotic scene of confusion and terror. Men shouted for help, their voices swallowed by the immense darkness. Instinctively, they gathered together in small, desperate groups, seeking comfort in numbers. In those first hours, some believed rescue would arrive quickly. After all, this was a decorated naval warship. Due to a series of communication errors and the secrecy of their mission, no one even knew they were missing. Surely someone would come looking. But morning came, revealing an endless, empty ocean. Hope began to fray. By the time the second night arrived, profound exhaustion began to take hold. Many sailors had already been in the water for nearly 24 hours, their bodies waterlogged and weak. With no fresh water, severe dehydration was setting in, tormenting them with an unquenchable thirst. The relentless equatorial sun had burned their skin raw during the day, leaving them exposed and in agony. And as darkness returned, the physical suffering was joined by a new, insidious threat. Something strange began happening to their minds. Men started seeing things that weren't there. Some claimed they could see the phantom lights of rescue ships on the horizon, a cruel trick of the light and a desperate mind. Others swore they saw lush green islands in the distance, a paradise that was never there. A few even said they could hear voices calling to them from just beneath the waves. But none of it was real. It was a mass hallucination born from trauma and deprivation. Psychologists now understand that extreme isolation, combined with physical stress, can cause something called sensory deprivation. When the brain is starved of normal stimulation, sight, sound, touch, it begins creating its own signals to make sense of the void.
Sounds, voices, movement.
Your mind desperately tries to fill the silence. And out on the vast, open ocean, that silence can be overwhelming and ultimately deadly. Another sailor who experienced this psychological battle was Stephen Callahan. After his boat sank in the Atlantic, Callahan survived alone in a life raft for a staggering 76 days. During the early days of his ordeal, he noticed how quickly isolation began affecting his thoughts. The ocean became quiet in a way he had never experienced before. No traffic, no voices, no human movement, just endless water and sky. Callahan later wrote that he sometimes spoke out loud simply to hear a human voice, because the silence was too heavy. The second night is often when survivors realize something terrifying. The initial shock has worn off, replaced by the vast, silent emptiness of the open ocean. They may be alone for much longer than they ever expected. The world they knew feels impossibly distant, and the hope of a quick rescue begins to fade with the light. And once that thought enters the mind, panic can begin. The heart races, breath becomes shallow. The immense pressure of the sea feels like it's closing in. Some people become reckless. They swim toward imaginary land, convinced they see lights on the horizon. They waste precious energy trying to chase hallucinations, burning calories their body cannot afford to lose. Others give up hope entirely, succumbing to a fatal apathy. But experienced sailors know the key to surviving the second night is simple: routine, focus, small tasks. They check their gear, bail out any water, and carefully ration their supplies. They might spend an hour securing a single line, not because it's loose, but because the methodical action keeps the mind occupied. It is anything that keeps the mind anchored to reality. Because once the mind drifts too far into the silence, the ocean doesn't have to do anything else. Your own thoughts will do the rest. And that's why many survival experts say the second night at sea is one of the most dangerous psychological moments a person can face. The ocean doesn't always kill with waves. Sometimes it simply waits. And the longer you float in the silence, the louder your own mind becomes. It's a battle fought not against the water, but against the void within.